Rainwater dripped steadily from the broken gutter above the alley, each drop echoing like a ticking clock counting down to disaster. The woman slumped against the cold brick wall could feel her strength slipping away, the world thinning into a blur of pain and exhaustion. Her daughter, tiny, shivering, terrified but brave, kept shaking her shoulder, whispering, "Mummy, please wake up." And that was the moment a tall shadow emerged at the end of the alley. A man in a dark suit, a man who looked like he didn't belong anywhere, near this broken corner of the city. But destiny didn't ask for directions. Before the viewers continue, if you believe in kindness, in humanity, and in the power of second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps stories like these alive. The man stepped closer, his polished shoes splashing through the muddy water. He had just finished a meeting at a nearby construction site and taken a shortcut through the alley, a path he never took, only because his driver had gone to fuel the car. His name was Arman Halim, one of the youngest CEOs in the city, known for his cold efficiency and heart of stone. But the moment he heard the tiny, trembling voice of the little girl saying, "Mommy can't walk," something inside him cracked. He crouched down in front of the child. She couldn't have been more than 5. Her hair was soaked, her small hands trembling as she held onto her mother's arm. The woman on the ground looked barely conscious, her face pale, her breath shallow. She had bruises on her legs and a twisted ankle that seemed badly swollen. Arman didn't know her name, her story, or what brought her here, but he knew one thing instantly: leaving her like this was impossible. The girl continued, begging him with eyes full of tears, telling him that her mummy hadn't eaten since yesterday, that she worked all day cleaning houses, but had collapsed while trying to walk home. Arman felt a knot form in his chest. Something unfamiliar yet painfully human. Without hesitation, he slipped his arms under the woman's fragile body, lifting her gently, cradling her as though she were something precious. The girl clung to his coat as they hurried through the rain. At the hospital, the doctors rushed her inside. Arman paced outside the room, drenched, restless, wondering why he felt so deeply affected. Maybe it was the way the little girl wouldn't leave his side. Maybe it was the way the woman's limp body felt so weightless in his arms. Or maybe it was because, behind all of his success, all his power, he had lived as a single father himself, raising his son alone after losing his wife years ago. Pain recognized pain, even in silence. Hours later, when the doctor explained the woman's condition, extreme exhaustion, untreated injuries, dehydration, Arman felt an anger rise inside him. Not anger at her, but at the world that forced hard-working mothers to break themselves just to survive. When the woman finally opened her eyes, she immediately asked about her daughter. Arman watched the relief on her face as the little girl hugged her tightly. He stepped back, ready to leave quietly, not expecting gratitude, not wanting recognition. But the woman's weak voice called out to him. She thanked him, apologizing for causing trouble, explaining that she never wanted anyone to see her like this. Her name was Mariam, a woman who had once dreamed of becoming a nurse but had given up everything after her husband abandoned her and her child. Life had taught her to survive quietly, hide her wounds, and never expect help. Arman listened, something shifting inside him. Over the next few days he found himself returning to the hospital. At first to check on her condition, then because he couldn't stop thinking about the little girl's brave face, or about Mariam's determination despite suffering. He began bringing meals, toys for the child, even arranging proper treatment for her injured leg. The nurses whispered about the CEO who visited daily, who sat by a single mother's bedside and helped her daughter with homework. Mariam couldn't understand why a man like him cared. She felt embarrassed, unworthy, burdened with guilt for accepting help. But each time she protested, Arman simply said he was doing what anyone should have done. Yet Mariam knew very well. Most people looked away. Days turned into weeks, and the small hospital room slowly filled with warmth. Arman's son, Zayan, eventually came along too, instantly bonding with the little girl, Aisha, over their shared love of drawing. Watching their children laugh together did something to Arman and Mariam, something frightening yet beautiful. Two broken families were slowly stitching themselves together without even trying. But as Mariam healed, she insisted she would find another job soon, not wanting to be a burden. She wanted to stand on her own feet again, even if those feet had nearly given up on her. Arman admired her strength, but he worried. What if she collapsed again? What if she ended up in another alley with no one to hear her daughter cry? One evening, as the sky turned orange, Armand drove them home after discharge. He walked her to the old, crumbling apartment she lived in, noticing the leaking roof, the broken door, the cold walls. A place unfit for any mother or child. When he asked why she stayed here, Miriam simply said, "It's what I can afford." That night, Armand didn't sleep. Something inside him had shifted too much to go back to the man he was before. The next morning he offered her a job, not charity, not pity, but a position as assistant supervisor in his company's healthcare outreach program, a job suited to her compassion and experience caring for others. Mariam broke down crying. She didn't know how to accept such kindness after years of being invisible. Aisha hugged Armand's leg, thanking him in her tiny voice. As months passed, Mariam flourished. Her smile returned. Aisha and Zayan became inseparable. And Armand? He found himself looking forward to the simple moments again. He found himself healing too. Near the end of that year, during a charity event, Mariam stood beside him, proud and confident. People looked at them, at the powerful CEO and the woman once found in an alley, and they saw something else now: hope, compassion, and the beginning of something pure. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us spread stories of humanity, kindness, and second chances. Before the ending, please comment below. Kindness can change a life. In time, Armand realized he hadn't just saved a woman that night. She had saved him too. Two wounded souls, brought together by a child's desperate voice in a dark alley, ended up finding light in each other. And sometimes that is all destiny needs. One moment, one stranger, one act of kindness, to change everything forever.